Hello and welcome to another session of the Mastermind Book Club. I am CEO David Diaz, and to my right, Marth Johnson. To my left, Reggie Hilliard and Culmer. This go around, we are summarizing and reviewing a very important audiobook, Speaking Peace by Marshall B. Rosenberg. Very unique book. Didn't expect some of the materials that were in here. But I'd like to give our mastermind a chance before I say what I think about this book. I'd like to call on Reggie Hilliard. Take it away.
Thank you, Honorable David Diaz. This is Reggie Hilliard of the Mastermind Book Club. Speaking Peace by Marshall B. Rosenberg. Basically, it's the practice of using language to create connection instead of conflict. Because as you speak, whether you're speaking out of anger or aggression, is always an attempt to kind of fulfill some type of need that you have. But when you focus, when you focus those needs instead of judging or blaming, you can build a connection with someone, to where you can get to some level of understanding and you can sort of get to a place of some type of cooperation, right? So you're expressing yourself without attacking, you're listening with empathy, without, and that's very cool when or a good thing when you listen with empathy, because you're really attempting to hear the person, to almost, as they say, step in their shoes, right? As opposed to just saying things and lashing out and all that. That's not constructive. You're going to end up creating some type of divisions. So you want to encourage, the whole book is talking about, or there's an encouragement of replacing your judgment with like observation, without blaming, right? You don't want to blame, you don't want to attack in those different ways. So you want to be very respectful and caring. And it's not like you won't have some level of conflict. You could have that bit of conflict, but the goal is to really try to minimize that and really, get to the place where you're having some type of exchange where it's like a good, fulfilling exchange, and everyone's feeling heard and everyone's feeling, there's something to be gained from this conversation, right? And ultimately, you're going to create some level of peace and harmony through that communication. So it's really about that overall good conversation with respect to couple parties or more parties exchanging in a way where it's fulfilling and not as much conflict, but that you're really attempting to hear each other and like, really speak from the heart and those things, as I said. So that's what I'll leave with.
Awesome, Reggie. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you for that brief summary. So now I'd like to call on Marth Johnson.
Hello, everyone. I'm glad to be here with you and everybody. See each other tonight or every day. I'm very grateful to be here. This is Speaking Peace. It means communication, the way we connect each others, and to understand it, to have compassion, to have empathy, and every day in cooperation to each other in everyday life. The peace starts at the moment we speak and listen, and the goal for Rosenberg is to no violence communication. They encourage us to have no violence communication in any way, in any moment, in any place. And he described two forms: is observation. In the observation, no have an argument. Feelings, no have a judgment. And needs is deeper truth. And another, he described the way we speak, we can get the foster peace for us with people, with the world, and for ourselves too. And that's what I get for this incredible book.
That's a very good summary, Martha. Sounded like you were
Thank you.
practicing all week. Very good. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Now I'd like to call on Culmer.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Mastermind Book Club. Just as Reggie and Martha have mentioned, the great books, or great biblical books, say that we should strive to live in peace with all men. And that's done by creating a connection. How do you create a connection? By using your words, by using good communication. When you're mindful of your words and know how to treat people, my grandparents used to say, you treat someone as you would like them to treat you. And if you start with a place of dignity and respect, you can always maintain a peaceful ground with people. Thank you.
All right, Chaz, that's very nice, short, sweet, and powerful. Thank you. This book, Speaking Peace by Marshall B. Rosenbaum, I mean, we all have some type of human action, and we all have some type of attempt to meet a certain need that matches or coincides with the universe in some way or form. But the aim is not to be better than the next person. The aim is just to connect, to make the connection, to make an understanding, and that way humanity is better in essence. I mean, one big example that Rosenberg puts in the book is, for example, if someone is overweight, you should never tell them lose weight. You should tell them, you know, it is wonderful to be overweight. It is amazing. I hope you're enjoying it. Because only when you say things that are flowing with that person, then they're able to make the connection and decide if they want to change or not. It's the same thing with the smoker, as it was another example. There's a mother who wanted their son to stop smoking, and Rosenberg said, you know, you're approaching this all wrong. You're telling him to stop smoking, and he's not going to stop smoking. Just embrace it. You know, support him because he's doing what he's meant to do. And, you know, it could be worse. So when we understand that type of nonviolent communication, things begin to happen. And I'm going to try it myself in my family and with some people that I know, because there are things that I like to tell people, and I'm going to try the opposite and see what happens. So Rosenberg on Speaking Peace is very short and powerful book. I just want to ask you all, is there any way you plan to use this or any part of this in your life?
I'll start. So for me, words are very, very much, well, I mean, it's a focal point of all of our lives, but what I'm very careful about is the intentionality of my words, because there was a point where I used words not in the best way, and I created some level of divide, you know, in family situations, even with certain peers or whatever, because, you know, I may say things and, you know, it didn't sound right, didn't come across the right way, even if I meant differently. So, and, you know, the goal is with being a communicator as I am, is to create bonds, not division. So, you know, reading another book like this or listening to another book that touches on this just, you know, makes it to where I'm going to be more intentional as much as I'm already intentional, as I've always talking about words. And I've mentioned to, you know, we have a lot of conversations around this, Charles and I, and I'm always like, just be careful with what you say and what you exchange. And that's, you know, you don't want to use words haphazardly. And, you know, it's very important because words, you know, we know in the beginning was the word and all that kind of stuff. So you're either going to be building with your words or tearing down or destroying. So for me, again, just like another book to really hit to kind of like hone in on the material and then exercise what's being spoken about in the book, so that I'm really clearly communicating and helping to create those bonds and those bridges and not tear them down.
Thank you, Reggie. Basically, you just said what you said describes empathy and, you know, for others and self-empathy, because sometimes we only take the look at one and not the other. And I mean, it makes sense. You know, try it. Try, instead of just looking at yourself and saying, oh, you're, you know, you're overweight or you're a smoker or you're this or you're that. No, just embrace what it is, because we're all different. You know, we're not going to all meet at the same terms. I mean, that's just a reality. So, Martha, is there any way you're going to use this information?
Yeah, and so many times I try to control my words because sometimes you get angry for any reason. And I try to think about it. I give myself like 3 seconds to control my mind, to make sure I want to use the right words for the person. And because I don't want to hurt anyone. Sometimes you say something and you don't pretend to hurt anyone, but sometimes happen. And I want to really control my speaking and the way they listen to, because sometimes you listen maybe wrong, or the person they don't pretend to say something that affect you, but sometimes you listen in different ways. So I have to control my listening. I have to control my words, the way I speak.
Got it. Thank you, Martha. Chaz, any last words?
Yes, yes. As Reggie was saying, it's important to build bonds instead of division. It's important to be genuine and meet people where they are. And all that starts with your words.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And lastly, I just want to say I am definitely going to use this. I know some people that I could sharpen my communication skills with, and this is very important. Learning how to listen, learning how to shut your mouth when you want to talk, learning to take a pause before you say the next thing that you have in your mind is very important. This is the Mastermind Book Club signing off, thanking you all for listening to us. Until next week, where we'll review another empowering book. See you then.
Yeah.